Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Champions Cup. This one, the Stormers taking on Toulon. Now this one, it's going to be a very entertaining game. The Stormers side play with a lot of pace. Toulon bringing that physicality that the French top 14 offers. This one is going to be an awesome contest. Looking through at the group that these two sides are a part of. As you can see, no one has played any games as of yet. This one will be the first. These two matches taking place a little bit later on. Glasgow will be taking on Sale Sharks and Racing 92 up against the Harlequins. But this is the type of group that you cannot afford a loss early. So for both of these teams, they have to be on their A game pretty much from the first whistle of this contest. And then from there, they just have to keep going throughout the whole competition. Looking at the teams. First of all, for the Stormers, they have got a couple notable names missing. No Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu for this match. Also alongside that, they do not have the option of Damien Valimza. That is due to his injury, but instead Marnie Libok will take on that 10 with Wada Kalant at number 15. In the front row, Alistair Vermaak alongside Joseph Dweba and Nedeling Forshire. Then Schikkeling alongside Ruben van Heeren in the locking duo. Kiki Morabi at 6, Ben Jason Dixon 7, and Vili Ingelrek in there as the number 8. So a big physical fallback, which is exactly what you need when you're going up against a side like Toulon, who like to get that ball in the hands of their forwards, then use that speed that they have on the outside. Paul De Vet as the number 9 with Marnie Libok at 10. Like I mentioned, Dan Duplessis and Ruan Nell have been quite the dangerous duo for the Stormers as of late. Lillian Zas, Hudson Berg, and Warakalant at number 15. When we look through at this Toulon side, there are a few familiar faces, including the man at number 3, Kyle Sinclair, is in there for Toulon. Also in the locking duo, Halaguha alongside Dave Ribbons, Lewis Ludlam at 6, Kulon at 7, and then Fukando Iza as the number 8. He's been looking pretty strong for Argentina throughout 2024. And I feel like this game, it will be no different. When we look at the backline, Seron and Dan Bigger as the 9-10 combination. Some people don't actually know that Dan Bigger was playing for Toulon, but there you go. He's going to be out there on the field. We'll be looking to bring a bit of impact. In the midfield, Smaili, I should say, at number 12. Sinzel on the outside, and then Gabin Villiers, Dren, and Drummond at number 15. The benches for these two sides, Sinatla there at number 23, and he will be going head-to-head more than likely at some stage throughout this game with Gita Wanyanyolo, who is a fantastic talent for Toulon as well as Fiji. And the Stormers side of things as well, they've got Marcel Tennyson, they've got Ardre Smith, so a lot of physicality late in the game as well. But looking through at the chat, we have got there first in the chat from I Am Nutty. We've got Wen here. We've got Stefan is here as well. Robert and Ruth. We've got the Stormers' 4th worst team in the URC. Toulon is coming 4th in the top 14. Says I Am Nutty. I live in Cape Town but support the Bulls, says Nico. Jane Lebok at the 10. So Stormers are playing without a fly half. Difficult to start with 14 men. Says Neville. But that's the thing. Like Marnie Libok, right? He doesn't have the best record in the Champions Cup. But one thing, once again, that cannot be denied is that man's attacking prowess. I feel like he will be able to really work well with Wada Kalant here. Maybe Toulon will put him under a little bit more pressure. But going up against Dan Bigger, of course, the kicking tee is always a talking point when it comes to Marnie Libok. But I think what he does on attack is still enough to justify selecting him in this case. And at the end of the day, you've got 2 other guys with injury. So, I mean, who else are you going to play as that number 10? I guess they could go with one of those younger guys, maybe, but a bit of a risk up against a side like Toulon. Come on, let's go, boys. Hit that like button, and let's get a Stormers, says Blues Nate. And I should mention this is the second of 3 games that we are going to be covering on the channel. The next one will be Saracens versus the Bulls, and that is going to be starting in about 2 hours and 20 minutes time. So be sure to stick around for that one as well. Plenty of action coming in the very near future. Stormers out to wreak some havoc. Man, these voters of the poll should watch some top 14, says Bill Whitlingham. Well, that's the thing. The last game between the Sharks and Exeter, the Sharks came in as heavy favourite. This game is a little bit of a different story. Pretty much the same odds that the Bulls are underdogs up against the Saracens are the odds that Toulon are the underdogs up against the Stormers. They're a tough side, but one thing that can be definitely confirmed about the top 14 is when you're at home, you are a lot stronger. than when you're away. So I feel like that is something that maybe is why the poll is leaning towards the Stormers that little bit more. The fact that Toulon, when they travel around France, they don't do too badly, but when they travel to a different country, we don't see that too often. Maybe that's when they struggle. Should also mention they don't have Charles Olivon, and they do not have Lester Fainanuku, two great players for Toulon. And the past, hello Mr. Marmite, nice to see you back. And Leka says a tour and there as well, but we are not too far away from the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Only 5 minutes away from kickoff. Looks like it's going to be a great afternoon for this match. It is at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, and I know that I've got Cape Town Stadium in my background, so I do apologise for that, but it's also because the sevens are taking place, so it's just nice and easy to have this one. We will be giving you sevens updates all throughout this game. We see matches like New Zealand versus France, and also we will have the live stream a little bit later on between South Africa and Argentina. Whoever wins that game will confirm their spot in the semi-finals. 24 degrees Celsius and 21 kilometres of wind for this game at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. And U2 says a tour in the chat as well. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of want to retire from predicting, mainly because that last game I said 40 points to 20 and it was 39 to 21. So that's about as good of a prediction as I will ever have on this channel. So I don't really want to risk it by giving a prediction here, mainly because I just don't know what to expect from Toulon. Toulon haven't sent their best team. It's why Bigger is playing. Most French side just don't compare for this, or don't care for this comp. Says Bleston and Blitzbox not doing too bad in the sevens. Yeah, a great win over Ireland in their first game, but it all comes down to that next one, which is going to be if they can get themselves a win up against the Argentines, they will go through to the semis. If they lose, because of the format, only 3 teams per group, and you only play 2 games. So, yeah, if they lose that game, then they would be out, which would be a massive shame, seeing as, like you said, they're doing so well from that first contest, finding some nice momentum there. But they are just showing the starting lineup of this Stormers team. I definitely think that backline is one to watch out for, but the job has to be done in that loose forward trio and the 4-pack. They have to keep that possession, because Toulon, they love a counter-ruck. But they're just showing the starting lineup here for this Toulon side. Some brilliant players taken to the field here. Ribbons, he will be the captain in the number 5 jersey, but Lewis Ludlam and also Fukando Isa in that loose forward trio. 2 players to watch out for. Dan Bigger, how will he be able to control this game? It's almost like a bit of a South Africa versus Wales in that fly half role. And then Gavin Villiers. People are expecting a lot from that man out on that wing. He's going here there with Hudsonberg. Can score tries for fun when he is on form. Bot Killer stacking it up with the big numbers. Says a Blues Nate. And, oh yeah, 62 points to 6. The prediction there. That would be, honestly, like, unbelievable, right? Because at the moment with these two sides, like Toulon are $2.75 underdogs, and the betting line, like in terms of the number, they feel like the Stormers will win this game by 5, is the prediction that this is given. So, it could be a close game in that regard. But we just don't know what to expect at the end of the day. They're either going to go out firing or they're going to go out and not really have as much of an impact as they would like. These two sides just about to get on the field. Game taking place between the Saints and the Castres. Or, I always say that name wrong, but that is about to take place as well. Some great players throughout that match too. Seven is Small, who was the man of the match in the Sharks yesterday game. They probably gave it to Sia Khaleesi, I would say, for what he was able to do with scoring 2 tries. Alongside that, though, I think that Jordan Hendrickse had an extremely solid game at number 10. Mapimpi, you could even put in an argument for, but I didn't actually get to see who they gave man of the match to. I think it might have been Khaleesi, unless they were just interviewing him since he was the captain at the end of the game. But here comes Joseph De Weber. Milestone matchup for that man. This will be his 50th appearance for the Stormers, and it is in such a big match. Like I said, these games are so important. Here comes Willie Engelbrecht. I believe he is also going to be the milestone. And that is going to be his 50th game for the Stormers as well. I actually like the fact that they gave both of those guys the run out rather than making them run out at the same time as each other. Watching from Jeffreys Bay in South Africa. And we have got their Stormers lose by 12, says Ator. Now both sides making their way out onto the field to lose. They are wearing a black kit. We are normally used to seeing the red, but that does clash with the DHL logo. I think Toulon will squeeze through by 4 points, says Stefan. Hello, Thomas and Jeffreys Bay. Beautiful place, great surfing here. Or there, says Ruth. And 32-21 for the Stormers, says Jean Vessels. Yeah, see, I'll be honest. Like, this is one of those games I just don't have a prediction for, so I'm glad you guys are given one. Because I just have no idea what to expect. The Stormers, you know, they lost to the Sharks last week, and they were a bit disappointed about it because they just went down by so many points early. So if Toulon can do the same thing here, get a few early points on the board, maybe that takes the Stormers into that same area and that they could struggle to get back into the game. But it's just so hard to tell what they are going to do here. But that is the exciting thing about this Champions Cup. We get to see first-time matchups that you don't normally get to see too often during a regular season, even at all throughout a regular season type of occurrence. So hopefully it is going to be a very entertaining one and at least good rugby between these two sides. Carl Dixon will be in charge of this match. And it is Toulon who will be kicking off from left to right. But we are now ready, ladies and gents, for this matchup of the Champions Cup, the first of the group. And it is kicked off short by Toulon, slapped back by the Stormers, but claimed by Toulon here. And they have got themselves the early possession. Kyle Sinclair, he has a jersey on that does not have a number on his back. It's going to make it hard work for the referee. I don't think he's the only one. A couple of the front row for Toulon do not have numbers. It's also going to make it hard for myself. But now running it forward. It's going to be Senzil getting driven backwards. Almost became a rolling maul there from the Stormers, and they've done well, and they will get the early scrum feed in their favour. Oh, me Marmite. Hope your toast was okay today. And WLK, good luck. Says Ruth there. Sanelli Huts. Oh, sorry, not Sanelli. I was about to say Sanelli Hutzenberg, but of course Sanelli Sanetla will be making his way off the bench in this game. Got pure pace later on, which could cut this game open. Played in 24-degree heat, so quite warm, but not quite as hot as some of the other games we have already seen for today. Stormers to win by 15, says Steve. Pack weights at the moment, 917 kg for the Stormers, 905 for Toulon. So two big 4-packs over that 900 kg mark. Now Paul de Vet about to feed this ball in. That scrum had a little bit of sideways crab walking going on just as it started. Hamish, the picture behind you was awesome, says Nico B. And yeah, of course, this game not taking place at Cape Town Stadium, but I just do really like the Stormers' home ground. Mani Lebok. In fact, no, sorry, it was Lillian Zas trying to keep the ball alive, and he has chucked it straight into the hands of Toulon, but the penalty is won by the Stormers. Hamish, you're absolutely fabulous with your pronunciation and name, and also English weather supports the Stormers today. Says I am nutty. A little bit of loose passing, as I've said, from the Stormers. Just starting to find their rhythm, I think, is a good way of looking at it. Trying to get those passes going well. Vice squad, are you undercover with that scoreline? And at 12 daily, they fire the cannons from there, says Nico B. Yeah, really nicely done by Wada Kalant, was actually the one who managed to get that turnover, thrown over the top, well claimed by Jean-Luc Duplessis. And Hamish, hope you enjoyed your holiday. It was good overall. Like, we still did a lot of live streams while we were away, but then that was just to keep us nice and busy as well. We did an all-nighter for the second night, I think it was, of the sevens, but no, it was good overall. Now straight back into all of the late night streams. Now Serin, looking for the ball, can't quite find it. See, that looks a bit like Charles Olivon but I don't think it is. They haven't got numbers on their back, so we can't actually tell. I'm not too sure who chose the Toulon kit. Maybe they actually showed up with the red kit and then maybe got told to change. I can't understand why like half of the players don't have a number unless they fell off in warm-up, but normally they don't wear their actual kits for the warm-ups. So, yeah, I have no idea what's happened with the kit maker. And now Money Libok, standing start on the halfway line. A lot of pressure coming in from Toulon, and they've got themselves the clean turnover and the breakdown. Ribbons goes across now to Lewis Ludlam. Set in, look into the left-hand side here. Dan Bigger with the pass on the outside to Gavin Villiers. Goes through two, flicks it off to Bigger, who moves up to 22 metres out, finds the offload. This is great stuff. Gavin Villiers dives on the ball, and that might just be the first try of the match from Toulon. Right, they're just checking to see if it was off the hand first of Gavin Villiers or whether it's a try. I think this might be good. Right, they're just checking to see whether or not Gavin Villiers not only didn't knock it on, but also they're checking that grounding too for a second knock on, I guess you could say, in that case. But the Stormers might have been caught out early here. Right, first thing they're checking is the grounding of the ball. Ooh. Right, they're going to have to slow that one down. He slams it, but there was maybe just a little bit of separation. We're going to see the replay here, frame by frame. So he has it, he has it, he has it, he has it. I think he's still got that ball. I think there's downward pressure. Yeah, that's happened quick enough that I would say that is fine. Yeah, that's still controlled in his fingers for the grounding, so they'll just be checking the first initial one. And I've said that it's fine as well. So that is the try early on to Toulon. 4 minutes into this game and the Stormers are down with a kick to come for Dan Bigger. But Gavin Villiers' second try in the Champions Cup quarter. Maybe he hasn't been in the best form for France. And some would even say he hasn't had the best season for Toulon so far. So that will give that man a lot of confidence. How the hell did the Stormers let Lorenzo Julius go to the Sharks? Who was that fellow who didn't sign the bloody check, says Miller. It might not so much have been the case of not signing the check, but I would say that the Sharks probably signed a bigger one for Lorenzo Julius. And we have got their good try by Toulon, start by Marnie. Says Buckman, Marnie Libok is in the starting lineup, yes. But now Serran is actually going to be the man taking the kicks here today rather than Dan Bigger by the looks of it. Crowd making a little bit of noise, trying to put him off. But I don't think it will work. It's only 25 metres out and hits it. Tell you what, it only just went over the post. That'll be 7 points to 0 early on for Toulon. If people get far behind in time, then it's because you're putting on the pause, especially at half time. Then to close you and reopen and they'll be synced again. Says Robert. Yeah. I think some people do forget that if you pause, then all of a sudden you are then delayed. Dan Bigger is huge. Says Ruth. Great early start for Gavin Villiers and Toulon. So they look to gain a bit of a loose ball there. I think it was knocked on by Lilian Zas. Dan Bigger with a nice pass out wide. Chance to kick this one down the field for Dreyan. Now taken on the halfway line, Marnie Libok runs straight into his teammate. And a long time I was following here. Stormers all the way, says Eben. Now Paul David. On back across here. Sazi Sunday. He's actually already on the field. I'm not too sure who that is for. It might be for Niddling for Sheer. I'm not too sure what happened to him and why he's off. But that is another early injury for a South African side. Marnie should play hooker, says Nico. Marnie, come on, my king, says Dania. Now passing it out wide again here for Toulon. Gavin Villiers attempts the kick, but that one's gone out on the full. He was the only man chasing it as he was just hopeful that it would have a bit of wind or something to bring it back in field. A mistake made. Now the Stormers have the line out about 35 metres out from Toulon's line. I think English these days, says a tour. And bigger as well. Now Joseph Deweb, I can't believe he's still awake game, says Graham. Yes, currently 4:25 a.m. here in New Zealand, and this is not the last game that we will be covering on the channel. That seems like we've had something awarded here. Penalty on the far side for Toulon. Baptiste Seren decides to take it quickly. That seemed a little bit sneaky, definitely because it was a TMO decision that brought it in, but certainly trying to make the most of it here for Toulon. Now Seren goes across again. Dan Bigger tries the cross kick. Is there a little bit too much on it? Slaps it back infield. That looked forward to me. And it's going back, and his foot was actually out. And can you remove all the money haters? We all just want to watch rugby. That these things, says Heinrich in there. Yeah, there are plenty of them, although they do normally go very quiet when he makes a match-winning play to help win the Stormers the game. People, can we try sticking to the rugby while it is a live match? Says Bachman. Baptiste Seren, just noticing early that the ref was running across the field, so just followed him all the way and then took that quick tap. Toulon making some good meters by doing so. That French winger is the cheaper version of Cheslin Colby, says Samila. It looks like Joseph Dweber getting a bit of a rub down on the back of the hamstring. Will any international rugby ever be able to work out? Rugby team be able to work out the Springboks in the World Cup, says Neil. Probably. Like, they're at the moment absolutely brilliant, right? But there is always that up and down curve of international rugby. So, like, at the moment, the Boks are on a tear. And they're extremely hard to beat. But who knows? You know, maybe a couple injuries happen, a couple retirements happen, and then all of a sudden it's a whole new ball game. Oh, okay, stoppages. Okay, player is down with an injury. Oh, that does not look good. Kiki Morabi, I think he is maybe either knocked out or the knee. It looks like, yeah, the knee is given way for Kiki Morabi. This is another early injury. This is actually a carbon copy of what we saw for the Sharks in their game up against the Exeter Chiefs. Stormers have no second wind. I'm late. Who scored the first try? First try was Gavin Villiers, who managed to get it. That knee twisted the wrong way for Kiki Morabi. Got a lot of weight going in the opposite direction to what he would have liked. Sad, says Mr. Marmite. Yeah, a massive shame for Kiki Morabi. And this looks like it might actually, it is a stretcher job. Unfortunately, this might be his season over. Of course, this will bring a bit of a stoppage to the game. Toulon came to play. Says Anthony, and ouch. Says Blues Nate, and thanks, buddy. Says Nico, no worries at all. So they have run on the stretcher. Looks like Marcel Tennyson is about to make his way out there, but that is already the second injury we have seen. I believe in the starting lineup, we did see Nedeling Fouchier, who has already made his way off as well. As Yankees playing, he will be making his way off the bench for this game. Herschel Yankees. Just talking about the list that they've lost in the loose forwards for injuries. Dion Foree, Junior Pukamela. Now it's going to be tested even more with Morabi going down. No Outlaws in the chat. Go to mow the lawn for tonight's dinner. Says a tour. And greetings, Hamish from the Cape. Says good. Welcome in, mate. You are keeping well. They are just showing the highlights of that first try that was scored. Tell you what, Gavin Villiers has done absolutely brilliantly to be in support for that first try. You eat lawn, says James. No. My neighbour across the road used to come over and he would eat the buttercups, if you guys know what they are. They're like a type of flower, and he'd just pick them off our lawn and eat them. It was very confusing. A couple of injuries. We don't even know who is the Springboks' best team. Name the players that will have to lose this year. Lud, Arge, Klein, Mostert, Faf, Willemse, to name a few, were injured. Says WLK. And also, good afternoon, everybody, says Jimbo. Welcome in. And we have also got the same as La Rochelle game. They lost most of their forwards. And Double Ouch, my friend, Phil had injuries flirting with me. Stormers have had, we have a problem. So here's Outlaw there. Decent turnout, though, at the stadium for this game. 8.5 minutes. That man could be the Walled Human's brother, the sevens player for the Blitzbox. How's it, Outlaw? Says a two. And also we've got the A Jimbo, says Nico. And buttercups are not edible, says James. Yeah, try telling him that. He kept going back for more of them. Even when we weren't here. Or like we'd be inside and he'd just go over and have a wander and eat some of the lawn. True story, which is just very confusing. Currently 7 points to 0. 8.5 minutes into this game. And how's it, says Outlaw. Is Watakalam playing? He is at number 15, yes. So they are just taking all the precautions here to make sure that Kiki Morabi will be all right. And they are making sure that they transfer him onto the stretcher in the safest manner possible. So it does mean that it's going to be a little bit longer before we get back into the rugby action. Probably another 2 minutes or so, just because, of course, they do want to make sure he is off the field at the right time. Or safely. How big is the crowd, says Buckman? It looks decent. Overall, I'm not sure of the exact numbers as of yet, just because we haven't seen the stadium side where the shade is. Not many people on the far side where there is the sun. Next time I asked him to mow your lawn for a free toothbrush, Hamish. Says Blues Nate. Batman will be angry. Oh no, even in certain cases in the sun there is a decent crowd there. Those were dandelions your neighbour was munching on. They were not, no. They're different to dandelions. They're like they're called a buttercup, the type of flower. They've probably got a more official name than buttercup, but yeah, no, they weren't dandelions. They were a bulbous buttercup, I think is what they're called, except they were a bit smaller. So, yeah, I think they're just called buttercups. And we have got their nutty bunch of fatties and monies, says Buckman, who's injured. So, unfortunately, the injury did come for Kiki Morabi. But I think they also already lost Nettling Foucher a little bit earlier on in the game as well. We're only 8 minutes in. Lettuce is a weed, says a tour. Was your neighbour a cow? No, he was a human. And he is still alive, so that's one bonus. Oh no, the blood reversal. Okay, Nettling Foucher has made his way back onto the field, building up Buttercup. Says Outlaw there. So yeah, he had a bit of a cut across the chin, Nettling Foucher, so it's great to see him back out there on the park. Labok is clueless. Where's Sasha? I think he's still got that little bit of an injury. Yes, he played last week, but I don't think they wanted to risk him 2 weeks in a row while he is just coming back. But now, Marcel Tennyson. According to the interwebs, buttercups are poisonous. Well, he's probably doing quite well to still be alive then. It must be the type of buttercup, I would assume, or else surely he would have gone down by now, wouldn't he? Did your neighbour look like a cloud with 4 legs? Says Hunsey. As Stormers can taste the baguette in their throats. That's a strange analogy. For she has magic mushroom, says Neville. Right, free kick going the way of the Stormers. I think there was Danny Prizo. Did get pinged for that one. That one's going to be kicked into touch now, down towards the halfway line. And buttercups used to be used as a cure for toothache, as they hurt more than a toothache, says James Evans. Are there 2 players that can play in the box place? Says Outlaw. Well, about 3 of them are injured at the moment, so there's not really that many. Have any on you ever eaten a human chicken neck? I have no idea what's going on in the chat, but Gavin Villy here hangs on to that ball, 35 metres out from the line now. Toulon once again on the attack. It's going to be an advantage for offside here. Stormers really have to get that discipline right in the early stages of this game. Looking for the offload. That was always optimistic. Going to Kyle Sinclair there. And they'll go back now for another penalty. Now, this is a kickable 3 if Baptiste Serron wants it. Okay, I can see the captain ribbon going like this. So I would say they're taking the 3. We've got a new member on the channel, Facundo Ray. Thank you very much, mate, for hitting that button. You now have access to the emojis on the channel. A chat straight down the rabbit hole, says Jimbo. Come on, French, make a few good runs, says Ruth there too. Now, just not quite getting it right early. A little bit of, like the commentators have said, a bit of laziness coming here, unfortunately. Well, we will go like this, and we will go like that as well. There we go. Currently, Toulon, even though they are up, they are still considered as the slight underdog. But I think if this kick goes over, that will change that. How's the centres matching up? So far, we haven't really seen a huge amount of either centre pairing. Like, we saw one run from JL Duplessis. Ruan now, I don't think, has touched the ball. And then we've seen one run from Senzil as well. So still a little bit too early to know exactly how they're going. But hopefully we'll learn pretty soon. Thank you for the good coverage, says David. Thank you very much. And that kick has gone over. So now Toulon sitting 10-0 up over the Stormers. Come on, the DHL Stormers, says Bradley. Did anyone predict the Sharks' big win? I predicted them to win 40 points to 20. And then they ended up winning 39-21. So I predicted the right amount of points, just not quite the exact number that the Sharks would have. So I'm happy, but I'm also sad that I was that close to getting it right and didn't. Now, Siren going to be kicking it downfield. What's he taking to the back for? What a Kalant. He's one of his big performances here. Stormers want any chance. Dan Bigger now booting this one up high. Chasing after this one. And just the knock on coming from Dumont. Going for the chip in behind. It sits up for Dan Bigger. Great positioning from the Welsh veteran. Pulled over in a Batman suit. Says, I am nutty. Now Kyle Sinclair. Tackled by Joseph Dweber in his 50th match for the Stormers. Also 50th for Willie Engelbrecht. Serran kicks it out on the full. Mistake made from the French 9. And that'll lose them about 30 or 40 metres. I understand the logistic issues, but I love imagining the Chiefs, Blues and the Crusaders playing in this competition, says Robert. And the Stormers not good this year, so I will say Toulon will win here. I hope the Stormers will win, but don't think they will. Maybe they have Robert Dupré as a coach, says Brandon. Dried buttercup are used for arthritis, nerve pain, blisters, ongoing chronic skin problems, and bronchitis. Fresh buttercups are unsafe, says Neville. Well, there you go. I'm not confident in the Stormers campaign for the season. Sadly, so far the Stormers look scrappy. And to be fair, they've had a huge injury list as well. Definitely in the loose forward trio. They were going through it before, all the guys that they're missing. Tis quite a few. But Paul de Vet now. Searching for this ball. Pass on the outside to Hartzenberg. Gets his flick away. And that is a beautiful inside ball to Waterkalant. He's going to go all the way in the corner. He scores it. Poor defence from Toulon. And that has cut the game open. And given the chance for the Stormers to get back into it. I'm just not confident in the Stormers campaign for this season. Sadly, so far the Stormers... Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Fourth top versus fourth last, and this is the place for all the best advice on eating wildflowers, says James. What a Calanta's first try in the Champions Cup. Just quick hands from Hartzenberg. Lillian Zas with the ball on the inside to Waterkalant, and the missed tackle from Dan Bigger, and a brilliant finish in the corner to get the job done. Hartzenberg just knew exactly when to pass. Dan Bigger, I should say, completely wrong-footed. Maybe this will get the game firing, says Hansi. Can I eat a dandelion? I wouldn't recommend it. Like, you probably could, but I don't know what the rules are around dandelions. I know sheep absolutely love them. It looks like to have become the International Rugby Gardening Show. There you go. Old mate forgot to take his medication, but decided to eat buttercups. Here's Blues Nate, and Marnie Libok strikes it straight down the middle to make the score 7 points to 10. 100% kicking accuracy for Marnie Libok at the moment, 15 minutes into the game. And Dan Bigger is like 100 years old, says Doctor there. What a Marnie from the touchline, says Danian. And what a kick, Marnie, says Grant. Yeah, what a Galant. I don't know whether or not he should have had a crack at that line. It just seemed like he just kept on breaking his way through. Dandelions are safe, can make tea from them, says Jimbo. Nicely taken by Ruben van Huren. Now bounces out the back. Paul DeVet goes to Marcel Tennis and go Marnie, says Jane. Paul DeVet, he thought about passing it, but instead now goes across to Marnie Libok. Now trying to slap it back was Hartzenberg. Now picked up here. Great run up the middle for Fukando Iza. Puts the chip in behind Lilian Zas. Having a hard job controlling it. Now he's forced himself into his own in-goal area and he'll be forced down 5-metre scrum. That was really bad from Lilian Zas. Made the wrong choice. Decided he wanted to try and running it rather than just kicking it into touch. He went and blamed one of his teammates when he got back to his feet, as if to say, why weren't you there to give me the support? But the easy option would have just been kick that ball into touch and call it a day. Great kick in behind from Fukando Iza, putting them under pressure. I'm going to see it here. Hutzenberg claimed it. Well, sorry, Lilian Zas, I should say. Yeah, that's when you just boot that ball. Get rid of it. As you're simply brilliant. Keep going your machine. If the Stormers can lose Marty and Yankees, then I say, yes, Marty is a good player. Over the last few games, he seems off to me, says Brandon. Yeah, you have to wonder whether or not it is a confidence issue. Because at the end of the day, the bloke probably can't go on social media without seeing all the terrible things people say about him. Fukando Isa, he tried to go and he's knocked it on. Just making the mistake there, the Argentine. Number 8. Looks like the bench are not too happy with the decision. Toulon try incoming, not quite. They were just short of the try line. And then Fukando Iza tried to reach that leg out. And then it was the foot of the Stormers player that just makes it enough. And brilliant defence, boys, says Grant. Marnie is unfortunately inconsistent. He is either all there or all gone. And the same can be said about Wada Calant at number 15. I always say about his type of form, how he can either have a 10 out of 10 game or he can have a 2 out of 10 and cost them a game. Juggling a discussion on herbal medicine with a rugby commentary is impressive, says James. Yeah, certainly, how do we even get onto, someone said something, didn't they, about a buttercup, and that was about it. Then I said that my neighbour used to eat them off my lawn, because I don't know why. And yeah, now we're here. Defence Stormers defence, says Danian. Big scrum coming and they will win the penalty 5 metres out from their own line. New Zealand men sucking donkey, but bit of push and shove here. Priso not happy with Nelly Fouchier. And now a bit of push and shove between Willie Engelbrecht and a couple of the big field, or the big forwards as well. Well, Priso's still getting into him. Joseph Dweber holding him, just trying to calm him down. It's not really working. Catching up. Is Sasha playing? He is not. Sasha Feinberg Ngme Zulu is not here for this game. Why don't we Owls? Dr. Hamish is in the house. Says Neville. Hamish lives next to the crack house. Explains to the neighbour eating flowers. Says Grant. At least our girls are in the semi, says Noel Mum. So did New Zealand lose to France, I assume? So France would have got themselves through to the next stage, I would assume. Knocked on from Toulon, or at least I've said knocked back for now. Marcel Tennyson in possession again here for the Stormers. Dandelions are great to relieve tiredness with Foxglove, especially if you're tired of life. Not medical advice. I'm here for the game. So here's Ansi. Now up to the halfway line. Priso has been cleaned out of that breakdown. Leg chop on Marnie Libok to knock him down. What a Calant. It's going to be considered as a tackle now, so they do have to release. Half-time 33-5. Yeah, no, they're not winning that one then. Paul Devitt back across here to Marcel Tennyson. The pick and go. Devitt looking off to the right here. Once again, another chance for the Stormers to mount an offense. With Ruben van Heeren. Cross to Mani Lebok. Oh, interception pass was almost there, but he's picked it back up. Mani Lebok. Ball on the inside. Oh, that's a big shot coming in on Duplessis. Now Paul Devitt looking at the short side. Dan Bigger once again going to have his defence tested, and he's bumped that ball into touch. And Dandelion signed the ground is too compact and waterlogged. There you go. Well, everyone knows a lot about dandelions, it would seem. I wouldn't call that a high shot. Drean, I think, has hit him in the chest and then it's rode up. So, yeah, I don't think that's bad enough to warrant a penalty. I think the contact's on the chest. I'll be surprised if they went back for it. We got a donation as well for your water supply and a cold pipe when you knock off, says Stefan. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. I just said there that Duplessis, he's a little bit sore, and that is just because his head whipped back when he got hit in the chest. Nothing wrong with that tackle, says Grant, and good tackle, no problem there, says Buckman. Like they've said there, the contact itself came him on the chest, and then his head's come down and hit the guy's shoulder. That was the initial contact, if that makes sense. Of course, you don't want to be tackling that high anyway, just in case. But I think it is fine. Third appearance in a Champions Cup game for Jean-Luc Duplessis. And eat it. Take a good boost. Spray paint the enamel of the head. We have got the Let's Go Stormers. Now it's going to be a line out here. Throw for Joseph Dweber, so in a good position on the field. Chance to add some more points. And 21-10 at halftime, says Bavani, for the prediction of this game. Might not be a mile off, so you're saying 2 more converted tries for the Stormers, I guess. In that case, thrown in. Dave Ribbons gets up for it, but can't claim it. JD Schickling does well, but it's being knocked on by the Stormers. Facundo Eza goes across to Dan Bigger. Throws a rough pass, but they'll go back for the initial knock-on advantage. Thank you for being here, Hamish. Just realised that it's 4:47 for you. Yeah, nice early morning start for us here in New Zealand. We've also got the next game taking place between the Bulls and Saracens. And then, of course, tomorrow night we will have more of the Sevens. Speaking of the Sevens, there is a Sevens live stream that will be starting on the channel in about maybe just under an hour's time. And that is going to be the matchup taking place between South Africa and Argentina. We have got Rugby Itch covering that one for us. I back the Crusaders. Pick your South African team, says Robert. It's honestly really hard to choose because there's certain players from all the sides that I really enjoy watching. I have to say, if I pick any side, it gets me in trouble normally. But I do think that the Bulls, in terms of their backline at the moment, they've got a lot of talent in there. I think that the Stormers, they have definitely a couple of X-Factor players, and then the Sharks, I think, have the forward pack out of all the teams. And then the Lions are just the dark horse, the side that could go under the radar this whole URC and go on to win it. So, they've all got something in them in terms of what they can bring to the competition. Munster at the same time as the Bulls, very stormy in Munster. And I've eaten Fox gloves, nothing happened, says James. And France hammering New Zealand in the Sevens. Yeah, sounds like it was pretty one-sided at halftime. Most of Ireland is without power and in the midst of a rough storm. It's my only link to the outside world. At least I'm getting some rugby this way, says Hansi. So hopefully it comes back. Are there any... So Munster are playing at home. Is that game going to be cancelled or postponed if they are in a bad storm, or is it not too bad for Munster at the moment? Now going to be thrown in by Joseph Dweber. Not straight. In fact, because there's no contest, it's going to be ruled as straight. Now that's a rule that we've seen not enforced many times over throughout rugby union. So it's great to see that they are finally enforcing it, seeing as it is one that they added What was the Sharks score, anyone? It was 39-21 in favour of the Sharks, and they also got themselves the bonus point, so walking away from that game with 5. Well done, CSS Jean, or Jean, I should say. Now, Duplessis, off to the left-hand side. What a Calantras, the little grubber. Didn't get a huge amount of distance on it. How are the Stormers looking? They're looking good on defence. They're slowly starting to find their rhythm when it comes to the attack. Monster folk love brutal weather, says Jimbo. Everton versus Liverpool postponed due to the weather. Right. But Munster, for now, I assume they're still playing. Leinster are away from home, aren't they, in their game, I believe. So hopefully the weather should be fine for them, although that will be in England, I think, which could be just as bad, if not worse. Kanduiza now, running up to the 22 for Toulon. Oh, charged down by Ruben van Heeren, making it awkward and scrappy at the moment. The Stormers, when it comes to the breakdown, that is diving over the ball. You can't do that. And I think Ruben van Heeren knew it as soon as he did it. Soft penalty to give away. It's a bad storm. It's all over Ireland and the UK. All Sport in Wales is cancelled. CS Flexion. All Sport in Wales is cancelled. Does that include the game tomorrow between the Ospreys and the Lions, Flexion, for the Challenge Cup? Or is it going to be still happening? Because I think that is a home game for the Ospreys, isn't it? So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there in that regard. I'm not sure whether Cardiff have a home game or anything along those lines for the other Welsh teams. The Scottish don't have that nice names. Yes, France got this, says Novmum, so I'd assume that they will go through to the semi-finals. It's off. Damn. I guess, player safety is the main priority, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure when do they just share the points? Because that could be massive for the overall outcome. Tomorrow isn't so bad. Ospreys have an undercover stadium in Cardiff. That's going to be kicked up high. What a Gallant. Slips it back onto the side of the Stormers. Oh, Paul the Vet just ate Gallant's elbow. Now Ben Jason Dixon making some nice meters there. Getting over the ball too long, but they've given away the penalty there for Marius Dumont. And no rain or snow. Just a bit windy. Bunch of snowflakes. Says Doctor. Wind is easy, says Mr. Marmite. Wind and rain roof. Trees down everywhere. Power and internet cables down. Now Money Libok. Going to kick this one towards the corner. It will be about 20 metres out from the line. In fact, closer to the 22. This is just going to be for going into the breakdown. No clear release is the call. It wasn't a bad effort, though, from Marius Dumont, other than the fact that it was illegal. Oh, my goodness, take care, buddy. There's Ruth there. 20 years ago, game on. Today, a bit of bad weather postponed. Says a tour, nicely claimed by the Stormers. 25 metres out now from the line. Big shot coming in. Stayed down for a little bit longer there, Marcel Tennyson. I think he really felt that one. Now Money Libok, short ball to Ben Jason Dixon, and he just gets wrestled out. Didn't get that pop pass on the inside, and he's down as well, holding his head here. This is not good. Ben Jason Dixon, we've already seen one injury in that loose ball trio. This is literally a carbon copy of what we saw between the Sharks and the Exeter Chiefs, because they lost 2 loose forwards. What happens to him? He just... that's a concussion. He's hit his head extremely hard on the ground for Ben Jason Dixon. Did the ABs win today? The AB Sevens, they just lost badly to France by the sounds of it. Yeah, I don't think Ben Jason Dixon will be able to continue in this game. He at least has to go off for an HIA because he slammed his head really hard sideways on the ground. Looks like already we are seeing another player start to warm up. Predictions for Saracens versus Bulls. Very hard game to predict, to be honest. Saracens, they haven't looked too bad overall for their premiership, whereas the Bulls, they aren't known as being a brilliant travelling side. But, maybe the Champions Cup is a little bit different, right? Ben Jason Dixon is at least sitting up here, so that is a good sign for the Stormers, but I just don't see how he continues in this game. Have New Zealand lost interest in Sevens rugby? Not really. They've just had a couple retiring players. Sam Dixon out, Scott Curry. So, when you lose players like that, it does make it very tricky. But Ben Jason Dixon, he is going to make his way off the field for an HIA now. And I would be utterly surprised if he can return to this match. He'll have a very bad headache, though, at the moment, I would think. So, number 21 for the Stormers. Another change being made. This time, it will be low now. Quite a few more minutes than he was anticipating for this game here with these competitions. Support any South African side, says Stefan. Don't dip your fingers in the Marmite jar then and come on the Stormers. You can't lose this one, says Trevor. He's off the field, play on, says I am nutty. Yeah, the problem was, though, the line-out was taking place from exactly where he was. So it didn't really work for continuing. 11, your commentary, as always. Thank you so much, says Robert. No worries at all. I do thank you very much for being here. We've got the Bulls versus Saracens game just around the corner that we are covering on the channel as well for Kanduiza. Hits it up. 10 metres out from their line here. Toulon. Serran will look towards the touch line. We'll be told to use it by Carl Dixon. And it's a good clearing kick. Do they want to take it quickly? Yes, they do. Lilian Zas goes across now to Warwick Lant, who's going to go for a cross kick attempt. And nicely claimed by Gavin Villiers. Inside ball. And now the counter-attack coming for Toulon. Bad decision made by Warwick Lant to go for that cross kick. Oh, big offload coming from Ribbons. The fact that he's flung it that far while off balance is pretty impressive. Kicked him on from Bigger. And it will now be marked. Will the AB7s bounce back? They won't for this tournament because they have been knocked out. But maybe we'll see them go all right in the future yet again. Put them in jars, says Mr. Marmite. Now Warwick Lamp will be able to kick this one downfield. Does put it into touch. Toulon will not take it quickly. Shane Fleshen, glad she made it okay. Says Ruth. New Zealand versus France was 47-15. USA was 17-19. So how did USA versus France go? I assume France won that one, in which case they would be going through to the quarterfinals. The semi-finals, of course, shortened competition in Cape Town. So far, we've seen 12 lineouts throughout the first 30 minutes of this game. Quite an active set piece. It's going to be thrown in, nicely claimed by Toulon. They have now got the ball. Looking for a bit of a rolling ball here with Bigny on the back. Hello, mate, says NZ Lad. Welcome back. Backline movement. Dan Bigger going across. That's a good shot coming in, and great work in the breakdown from the Stormers, getting cleaned up and now in the possession of the home side. Hudsonberg went risky, looking for the offload, and it's set straight up. Gavin Villiers does well to keep the ball alive. Now, Lilian Zas runs straight at Villiers. That was a bit high. And the penalty does go the way of the Stormers. Better push and shove as well there. Villiers getting in the action with Lilian Zas. There's been tension. Tell you what, last game, Sharks versus Exeter, there was a bit of push and shove. And then this game, it looks like it's going to be the same. It's so comforting to see Marnie Libok in the Stormers jersey. See how the Springbok jersey says Christian. And France 50, USA 12. Yeah, so they are definitely going through. We can watch the match live, which channel Sky Sport and what? So it is Sky Sport Select to be able to watch this game. One of the other Champions Cup games are taking place at the same time, and that is more than likely on Sky Sport 1. But yeah, Sky Sport Select is where you can find this game. Already 31 minutes through this contest. Lilian Zas just running it straight at Gavin Villiers. Yeah, then ended up tackling him in the seatbelt, which caused a little bit of a problem between the two. Anton hasn't cut R2, so offended. Sorry, I just came in. Blitzbox results so far. So far we've seen one win for the Blitzbox over the Irish. I believe it was about 38 points to 7. Their next game taking place in around 50 minutes' time. If they win that up against Argentina, they get through to the semis. If they lose, they will be knocked out. And we're also going to have the coverage on the channel for that game We have got someone coming in to help us out for that, so be sure keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, Argentina and South Africa both have one win up to the stage, and seeing as it's only 3 teams in each group, it means you have to win 2 games to go through pretty much. Now running it forward there, big shot coming in on Marcel Tennyson, pulled of it, charged down by Kyle Sinclair. Couldn't find the ball though. Mani Lebok trying to step through, and he's nailed by 2 big props, Prizo and Sinclair, getting their shots in. Now Nilin Fouchier just letting it reset. Stormers have had a couple times in this game where they've just been stood still, trying to work out what their next attack is going to look like. Oh, collision there between 2 Toulon players, but nicely cleaned up by Gabin Villiers. Looks like maybe Dan Bigger, if that was who it was, has stayed down for now. Now, going back across. Yep, Bigger's back to his feet. Looks like he wants to continue. Nice step in the midfield. Now, Andrea out on the wing. You can't beat battling the elements to pay £5 for a pound with your mates. Dixon always a boring ref. What do you mean by like boring ref? As in like he just calls like penalties, or how does a ref not be boring? Now kicking it downfield, what a Hallant. Passes across to Mani Lebok. Looks like they're going to try and run this one. Hallant with the inside ball. Receives it well. Rush defence attempted by Kyle Sinclair, one of the numberless players out there on the field for Toulon. Tackle on the halfway line for Willie Engelbrecht. This game is boring, says Doctor. It hasn't been too bad. We've seen 17 points, bit of back and forth. I think these two sides have been equaling each other quite nicely, kind of cancelling each other's attacks out. Just for now, Dan Bigger takes it well under the high ball, gets it across to his number 15, Marius Dumont. Tries to make his way through the gap. Tackle low by Joseph Dweba. Now pick and go, Serran runs straight into Alistair Van Mark. Bigger will send the ball downfield. They're playing a bit of the territory here. And I hope it opens up in the second 40. Very stop and go, says Hansi. And yeah, we've had, like I said, about 14 lineouts throughout this match. That is a big kick downfield. Rugby is never boring unless England plays. Says a tour at £5 a pint. I pay 40 rands. At Scrummy Jack. And come on, the Stormers, open up a can of whoop ass already. Says when, excuse me guys, need to go feed my old mum, be back soon. Says Neville, so we will see you shortly. Yeah, that is a really good kick from the 22. Come on, the Stormers, let's go, says Johan. Possession at the moment, 54% in favour of the home side. Fantastic kick, Hallant. Says Grant there as well. A line out throw. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. They go to the front to Ribbons. Well claimed. Thought about the rolling maul, but instead now we'll start to charge it forward for Kandoeza. He's had the handling error, and now chance for Mani Lebok, who passes one more. Ruan now. Good shot on him. Seems like the decision making as well for both of these sides in terms of who to pass to has been a little bit off. Just in this first half, what a Hallant. Nice pass on from Jean-Luc Duplessis. As where are the Lebok critics? He's playing a fair game by the sounds of it, says Stefan. Northampton are currently 14-3 at half-time. So they're already at half-time in that other matchup. I guess that is because they haven't had the injuries for Kandoeza. Oh, he almost had the turnover, but the penalty will go against him. Opportunity here for the Stormers to either take 3, go into half-time, possibly 10-10, although still time for another kick. This is a big decision. What do they want to do here? I think they'll kick. Yeah, they're going to kick for the corner. They will risk it all here, the Stormers. It is a mindset that we've seen at times throughout this season. Yeah, I hear you fleshing, got to go. Can't leave your boys waiting. Says Blues, Nate. Take the 3, says Grant, and it was fishing now. Says a 2. Now Joseph Dweba. Ready to throw this one in 5 metres out from the line. And it goes in nicely to Willie Engelbrecht. That is well set, although stolen by Toulon. They picked it perfectly. Amadeus TV Stucks, they are showing the 7s. and all that because of the cricket South Africa standing strong currently against Sri Lanka. Are you sure they haven't got it on a different channel, Mornay? I would assume that it would be scattered somewhere throughout the options. Mistake, take the 3 before half-time. Yeah, it's cost them here. Could have had it back to a level playing field. That score is so boring. It's stuck. Get moving, boys. Says Ruth. Yeah, just perfectly ripping it. I think it was Dave Ribbons. Thank you so much for this commentary. It means the world to me this evening. I really appreciate it, says Robert. No worries at all. And we are going to be back, like I said, for that next game between the Bulls and Saracens as well. Still plenty more action to come. I love them stockings too, says a two. What channel is the match on in Ireland? I have absolutely no idea, if I'm being honest with you. No matter what the conditions or situations you're in, beer and boys, I will make it sunny again, says Blues Nate. Looks like there's another little injury here. I think that is the hooker, Teddy Balbigny. I would say, maybe, yep. And also a change has been made. Number 21 onto the field. That is for Serran, who has made his way off. So another change being made here early. A lot of injuries for this Champions Cup so far. Oh, no, sorry. Dan Bigger's gone off for the HIA, so that's who he's on for rather than Serran. And Bigger did stay down for a little while after the big shot coming in. It was actually from Gavin Villiers' teammate, who almost knocked him out. Ruben van Heeren goes across now to Paul de Vet, Lebok, into the middle of the field. And that's going to be another advantage. Little dink in behind. Worst possible time for a yawn when the Stormers are on hot attack, but that is going back for the initial penalty now. Not on in Ireland, says Michael. Robert's so sweet and appreciates you a lot, says Ruth. But now, this is where they could once again take 3. It's 50 metres out. It's a relatively tough kick. And Toulon missing Oliver. And RTE 2 have the Munster match at 5:30. I keep saying my guy, and don't forget to report in, mate. Then Jason Dixon. It looks like he's going to be able to come back in this game. I thought he would have been failing his HIA, but he's done extremely well to be in the position to come back. All right, the decision is made again. Money Libok will kick this one for the corner. Will George come back in 2025? He certainly will at some stage. That's the thing, like, if Rugby 25 gets a few more updates and we start to have, like, the All Blacks face scans and the Springboks face scans, I think me and George could even do a career mode, possibly, or something along those lines. If that's something you guys want to see. I would love this cup to include New Zealand teams. The Box and the ABs need each other, says Robert. Did you get any sleep in? Like, maybe, I'd say no. I was going to say maybe 30 minutes, but I think I just lay in bed for 30 minutes, and then the alarm went off, so I got up. And 2025, the Black Ferns will win the World Cup, says Manny M. Now looking for the rolling ball here for the Stormers. Joseph Dueba does have control of that ball at the back. They've been told to use it once, but they will now start to make more meters. Stormers committing a lot of men here. This is going to be a great chance, and they're over the line just before half-time. What is the latest score? Stormers and Toulouse. Now the score is 12 points to 10 after the Stormers got themselves the try. Paul Hamish needs his duvet and pillow, says Ruth. Yeah, right on the cusp of half-time, managing to get that try. Bokdo near New Zealand. Doing just fine without them, says Jimbo. And thanks for your commentary, Amy, says Russell. Russell, thank you very much. Also, 4 weeks ago, Ireland versus New Zealand, do you remember? You were having a nice time, mate, says NZ Lad. Yeah, I think I wear the same tie quite often, don't I, on these streams. Thank goodness that one works, says Stefan. And good time to score, says Grant. Yeah, if they had failed that one as well, I think they would have been pretty disappointed, just because they needed some form of points happening beforehand. But it'll be interesting to see what happens for the second half now. Whether or not that's the Stormers' momentum that's going to just take them to that next level, or if it's going to be the case of that's their big burst Hey, mind asking, can you speak Māori? Only a little bit, not a huge amount. Like, really basic stuff. That kick has gone over from Mani Libok, 2 from 2 for himself here. And halftime in this contest, 14 points to 10. Hello, Hamish. How are you doing? Despite the 3 yellow cards for the Sharks, I think they had an okay game. A lot to work on, though. What did you think of the game? I thought, yeah, the Sharks, at times, defensively, were very impressive in that game up against the Chiefs. I do think that if they can take away, let's say, 5 or so penalties, because they gave away like 18, and even taking away 5 still a relatively penalised side, but, you know, if they can take that away a little bit, and then handling, I think they had double figures, couple little scrappy things, but other than that, I think it's still a very strong performance. They got themselves the bonus point, which is the main thing, and they'll be looking forward to next week where they take on the Leicester Tigers. And I'm off. I'll let you know if I make it, says Fleshin. So, yeah, be safe in the rough weather. Can you see any club side ever topping that 2018 Crusaders? For all time, says Toilet. It'd be pretty hard to do, but, like, there are some good sides around at the moment. It's just you got to get that real good consistency, don't you? Russell, are you making that muffled crackling sound? Says Toby Hart. Wallabies women's sevens have caught up with the Black Fern sevens. And the All Blacks are super resilient, even with the bad depth. Says a 9HD. Yeah, I mean, leading this one, 14 points to 10, probably about right, I guess you could say. Like, Toulon had a great start to this game. I'm wondering what the impact will be, though, that Dan Bigger has been taken off the field for an HIA. If he doesn't return, that is going to be a massive hit. And that could completely change Toulon's attack. He was involved in the first one. They were able to score for Gavin Villiers, so just very hard to tell what kind of impact it could bring. What players underperformed in the Stormers game, in the Sharks game. Ooh, I mean, I don't know whether there were too many that underperformed. Like, everyone kind of did their job, I would say. Like, Esterhazen, we maybe didn't see the huge impact that we expected. Same with Ethan Hooker, but they still had some really good moments in that midfield. Fussy was good at the back. Keita didn't get heavily involved at times, but when he was, he did well. Toulouse would be a Northern Hemisphere best shot at a club dynasty, says Jimbo. Queenstown was your first video, right? The first public video, anyway. We had a few before that, but they were privated. Most of them weren't related to rugby or sports. Like, a couple of them were just us playing pool in a garage. And also, yeah, a couple other interesting ones. The Sharks should recruit Finn Russell, says Toby. A greater club dynasty, surely Crusaders, says Toilet Smithy. Smithy just reminded me to do something, says Atur. And also, Stormers should win this. They have never won a super title. So heaps of energy, being nearly 2 decades of not being in the finals, says Doctor. Although, to be fair, they did win the first year of the URC, doing brilliantly for themselves. We're getting to see the highlights of the rowing, or it's not the rowing, but it's like the canoeing that we talked about a little while ago that they were showing during the breaks. Yes, Smithy, so I can Google. Did you visit every single city of New Zealand? No, I've only been to probably I've been to a few cities nearby, but outside of nearby, probably only like 10, maybe. Something like that. Of course, the Sevens is also taking place at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. New Zealand losing to France, which books France their spot through to the semi-final. Just having a quick look to see exactly who is confirmed at the moment for those playoff games. Anyone can win the URC. My primary school can win the URC. Says Doctor 2017 to 2023. Got their Rugby Pass TV have got the coverage. Spain are going to make their way through. If Australia don't beat Spain, we are actually going to see Spain make their way through to the semis for 2 times in a row to go to Napier. I don't think I've been to Napier in my time. Going to be asked to care about the Sevens. Just seems like World Rugby trying to create IP hype, says Robert. But yeah, the South Africans are going to be in action in a very short moment. They'll be up against the Argentinians. That is at 5:41 a.m. New Zealand time, so 6:41 for you guys in South Africa. And Napier, such a one-horse town, and 7 Prem titles in a row. And Crusaders will definitely be competitive in the URC, says Toilet Smithy. And AB7's must be sacked now. He is a disgrace to New Zealand rugby. I mean, to be fair, he hasn't got the best group of players at the moment either, so it's probably a bit harsh, seeing as he did help them out last year, got them a medal at the Olympics, and overall pretty solid last season, so just seems a bit rough to try and sack him now that they're struggling. Yeah, in the second half, I think we're going to see a lot more of that attacking coming from the Stormers. We saw a couple cross kicks and whatnot attempted. Did you went horse riding before? I've not been horse riding. Don't know if I would. I'd have to really know that the horse is going to behave first, I think. Big love, everyone. European rugby with a South African touch. Got to love it. See you, Sebastian. And of course, you will be excited for that game later on. Racing versus Harlequins. You got any prediction for it, Seb? You think your boys will get the job done? They love a comeback. We know that from the last few years. New Zealand club teams competing in the URC sort out at least 50% of their problems. Says Toilet Smithy, 7s is for girls. Says Mr. Marmite, quite a few of the Union players have started in the 7s world, though. You know, for the South Africans, I mean, we're seeing greats like Quagga Smith, like Chisel and Colby, started off in the 7s circuit. Just looking through at the moment. So the women's semi-finals will be Australia versus USA and New Zealand versus France. Men's semi-finals, France have confirmed their spot, but no one else has as of yet. But it does look like Spain are about to book themselves the spot in there too. I'd be curious to know who they'd be playing, though, whether or not they get to play up against the French or whether they go on the other side of the draw. But yeah, they just beat Australia 19 points to 14. So Australia have lost both their games in the 7s. There's a one-horse town. Why won't France visit America? It is to do with jet lag. They didn't want to travel all that extra distance. Plus, like, they'll be making enough money as it is, I would think. My prediction for the Quins are by 5. But I'm not fully confident. It's just to make me feel better. It will be tough, says Sebastian there. Do you know the song One Horse Town from the Road Hammers? I do not know. Sounds like an older song, if I'm being honest. New Zealand must not select overseas players. They have enough talent, says Manny M. And Napier is more like Texas, says NZ Lab. But looking through at the benches for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen, we will go like this. And there we go. Andre Hugo Fenta. He has yet to make his way onto the field, but we're seeing quite a few other changes that have already happened. Sandy was on the field briefly. That was due to the cut that Nedeling Fouchier did get. Marcel Tennyson, he has already made his way on. Same with Nell. That was due to head knocks as well as a knee injury for Kiki Morabe. But we do see the change being made. Ben Jason Dixon actually making his way back out onto the field. So one of those two will make their way off. Herschel Yankees and Sinetla as the number 23 for Toulon. We have seen one change made, and that is Hirif making his way onto the field. That is for Dan Bigger, who has gone down with the HIA. So it's a very big question of whether or not he will be out there in the second half or whether he is done for the day. And that would actually take him out of next week's game as well, which will be up against the Glasgow Warriors. Then from there, they're back into the top 14. 2 more games before the end of the year, including that game on the 29th up against Bordeaux for the Stormers. It does not get any easier. They've got the Quins next week. Then from there, they have 2 South African derbies, one up against the Lions and one up against the Sharks. So those are 3 big games all coming in a row, and we will be covering them all on the channel, including that Quins game next week, starting at 9 a.m. New Zealand time. That will be a 10 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. But second half is nearly here. A different format at the 7s, very different. Only 3 teams per group rather than 4, which does mean rather than the top 2 sides going through from each group, it's only 1, which then means, unfortunately, that like pretty much if you lose a game in your playoff games or your group stage fixes, you're just gone. Rassi didn't necessarily have a good win rate this first year. Look what he accomplished, this Toilet Smithy. And South Africa, 0 foreign players, unlike the rest of the world, relying on players that have no real intention to get them across the line, just saying. Says Nico, who was your first choice coach for the ABs? Are we talking about before, like, this year or currently? This is not nearly as exciting as the Bulls versus Crusaders could be, says Robert. And DuPont is the largest chemical producers on the planet. They poison everything. Gary Steed should be sacked, says NZ Lad. And before Razor. Well, I mean, Razor did seem like the next guy that was going to get the job. I don't really know of too many other. I mean, some people said Clayton McMillan. Some said, some even, I just heard people saying Warren Gatlin at one point. But yeah, like Clayton McMillan probably would have been the next guy who could have got the run. And we have got there Smithy 12 of the current box started the 2017 loss versus England. RC changed it incredibly. You want Jamie Joseph, says Blues Nate. Says Manny M. Now, second half, very close to getting underway. Do you let me know your in-score predictions as well, ladies and gentlemen? 14 points to 10 at the moment. We're only 20 minutes away from that next game of the sevens that is taking place between South Africa and Argentina. We will have the coverage on the channel. It won't be myself commentating, though. It will be Rugby Itch. Dave Rennie was my second choice. Says Manny M. The Box didn't become the way they did overnight. No need to criticise Razor for not accomplishing much his first year. Says Toilet Smithy. Watch second half. Stormers change in top gear. Surprising everybody. Says Neon. Says Leon, I should say. And there, I'm expecting them to start quite differently because they scored right at the end of that first half. So I think that they'll come out firing and try their best to get on the board as soon as possible. Jamie Joseph and Razor were the front runners for the AB's job. Says Toilet Smithy. I really miss the Super 12, Super 15 championship years between 2010 and 2015. Best rugby ever played, says Nico, who scored the second try for the Stormers, says Neville. So the second try was scored right at the end, and that was Joseph Weber off a rolling maul try. So right at the cusp of half-time, we did end up seeing that try being scored. For the next game, it is going to be kicking off in 1 hour and 8 minutes' time, ladies and gentlemen. We will be live for it, even though the eyes, one of them is very bloodshot at the moment from staying up. Jamie Joseph was the head coach. Tony Brown would have been his assistant. He's always been incredibly loyal to Jamie. They've coached everywhere together. I think Razor's biased in his selection to many Crusaders. Says Manny M. Very true, Smitty. In there as well from Jimbo. So also, do let me know, of course, who you think will score first in the second half in terms of the exact player. I am thinking... See, it just seems like it's going to be a winger. But... I don't know. I'll go Hutzenberg. He's got to have a half a chance. I would think missed the first half. Having a beer now, ready to watch. Thanks for the broadcast, Skewy Lad. Says Terry, no worries at all. Hopefully you are enjoying your beverage. And hi, listening from Hermanus. Says Diana, welcome in as well. Now, second half, just about here. And my original was Toulon by 4. I will switch this now. Give the Stormers 28-23 with LeBoc on song with his kicking, says the fan. And we have got the Sharks, Stormers, and the Bulls for the win, says Danian. And Razor is just sticking to what he knows, and his tactics are well drilled. And to his Crusaders players, says Toilet Smithy. Hartzenberg to score first, says Grant. Great minds think alike. It's the saying. Whether or not we are right, we will soon find out. And brilliant choice, Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown. And in my view, the Springboks can get even better in 2025 than they were in 2024. And 32 points to 23 for the Stormers. Since Western Province in 1980, they win games last 15 minutes, says a tour. Marnie, first try, Ben. And when will New Zealand play next, says Jimbo? Are you talking the Sevens or the All Blacks? So if you're talking the All Blacks, that is in July. Up against the French is the next time that we see them in action. We have to wait quite a while before we do get to see it once again. If you're talking about the Sevens, they're playing probably about 9 p.m. South African time, maybe 8 p.m. Irish time tomorrow. This channel has crazy conversations or crazier conversations than Mystery Science Theater 4000. See, it's a cool story, bro. But yeah, for the ABs, it is in July. They might have a warm-up game in June if they're lucky, but more than likely just straight into it for the July internationals up against France. Now ready to go for the second half, Dan Bigger. I'm not too sure. Yes, they have said that he is back out there on the field, so that is great news for Toulon. Now, nicely taken by Ribbons inside of the 22. If Toulon want a chance in this game, they have to keep it close. They have to use those physical forwards that they do have. Now, Serron with the kick downfield. I see taken by Mani Libok at the back. Goes across to Warakaland, who was waiting for it. Now looking to run down the wing. Gets it across to Hudsonberg. And falls never differ. I will be as gentle as a lamb, says Doctor. Paul DeVette back across to Warakaland, who goes with a big up and under. This one's going to take a long time to come down, but it bounces onto the side of the French. There was the knock on. Oh, a little bit of a late dump tackle there. So Jean-Luc Duplessis gets pushed over there and Ribbons goes down. Okay, it's going to be the penalty to the Stormers. Ribbons is not happy with how late the tackle was on his teammate. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so we will quickly mute. Right, we are good. Like they've said, they don't really want to make it too spicy. If you are Toulon, you want to keep it relatively controlled. I can multitask too, says the tour. And right, that's it. Only rugby now. Go away, strange people, says Mr. Marmite. Now ready to throw this line out. They're only a few metres out from the try line here for Joseph Weber. He's already had one rolling maul try. Perhaps eyeing up a second here. Oh. 6 people. They have got the same number. And at least we still have the services of Wayne Smith. There's Manny M, JD Schickerling, taking it nicely. They've been told to use it once. That's exactly what happened when they managed to get themselves the try. They've been told to use it again. Ball is still in there. It's gone down. And it's come out the side there onto the side of the Stormers. They have managed to retain the ball. Paul DeVette going across now to Niddling Fouchier. Now Willie Engelreck, 7 metres out from the line, pick and go from Nell. Wanting the ball, Prezzo, and he can't quite get it. Now Ruben van Heeren, driven backwards by Halagahu, and there's a knock on. Mohammed, it's £2.50 at the store, even cheaper behind it. Says, I am nutty. I think the ABs, Argentina and Australia are building towards equaling the box. As developed by Rassi. I rate their coaches' efforts, although the results do not always go their way. If the ABs do or don't do well, do you think Razor will get the sack, says Manny M? It depends a little bit. Because they've locked him in for a relatively long contract, haven't they? And they've kind of looked at him as the guy who's going to help them towards 2027. So the last thing you want to do is get rid of him and then have to find another coach who might not be able to get your results. Razor needs an experienced coach like Wayne Smith with him, similar to what Rassi had to help him when he started coaching the box. But now, it's going to be Serran, who has got the scrum feed for Toulon. Now the ball goes in, rough one. A lot of movement though at scrum time. It's been a scrappy game when it comes to set pieces and breakdowns between these two sides. A lot of feeling, a lot of passion out there on the park. Prezzo is not happy in that number 1 jersey. Yeah, just really wheeling around. Having Dan Bigger back out there on the field. Looks like Niddling Fouchier's decided that his face is bleeding just little enough that he is able to have it without the bandage. Now Serran. Ready to put this ball in for the French. Or at least for the French side. And Toulon, partially charged down by Rouen now. So it will now be the line out for Toulon, who will be about 15 metres out from their line. Please help me, says Mr. Marmite. Steve Hansen was worse than Razor when he joined the AB's environment. Says Toilet Smithy. Ball is going to go into touch now. Chance here again for Toulon. They've got to try and get out of here. The longer they spend inside of their 22, the longer the opportunity comes for the Stormers to get that steal. Now going in. Nicely claimed by Halagahu. Warning to New Zealand, don't try to adapt South Africa's rugby model. Here's cool story, bro. Now Serran will get to kick this one down deep, and this time does manage to exit the 22 and finds touch. Do they want to take it quickly? They decide against it in the end. Hudsonberg hangs on to it. AB's going to try to adopt South Africa's model. Says Toilet Smithy. Where's the flush button? Call Harry Plummer. And come on, the Stormers another try, says Stefan. There too. Currently, we don't have a scoreboard on the screen, so we're not sure of the exact time, but I believe we're around 46, 47 minutes in the actual game. And Jason Dixon, that is a huge amount of strapping on his elbow. He's actually got a tennis ball-sized bandage on that elbow joint. Now, nicely claimed by the Stormers. It was a little bit rough. Did end up getting slapped backwards into their grass, but they will still take it. Marcel Tennyson, big shot coming in from Dave Ribbons. Now told to use it for Paul Devet. Does put it up high. Gavin Villiers, he hasn't claimed that one. Going to be knocked on by Toulon again, and a big shot coming in, and once again, we're going to have another scrum. Joseph Dweber may have just injured David Ribbons there. Okay, they might check this, but at the same time, it might just be a little bit of an accident. And Andre Hugo Fenter looks the goods. He's a big boy. Here's Toilet Smithy. Marnie's still playing? He is indeed, yes. Well, we haven't seen a huge amount of the Stormers with possession so far throughout the second half in terms of being able to use their backline. Seen a lot more of the forward pack. Dave Ribbons. Yeah, I see why some of them are missing their numbers on the back. It looks like they fall off pretty easy. Like they've said, quite an intense game of rugby so far between these two sides. Keep it up, Stormers. Says Hendrick there. And come on, the Stormers, my only, says Etanet. And for Dupre over Dupont, says Toilet Smithy. Another scrum. Hansen is worried they might try to copy something like South Africa. Maybe he's talking overseas selection. Says cool story, bro. Yeah, so they're saying it's live action, but he did make contact with his head. Will the Bulls win? They are underdogs, but I do think if it's anything like some of the other games that they've had, they should travel not too badly. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. No, New Zealand Rugby will never change that rule. Says Toilet Smithy. The last 20 minutes is always best in the big games. Says I am nutty. But now, Paul Devet, ready to feed this ball in for these Stormers. Big push. Collapse in the scrum of Toulon. Cut out pass there from Mani Libot. Goes to Watakalam. Puts the kick behind to Hudsonberg, but he can't quite claim it. It's going to be now in the hands of Gita Wanyanyolo, and they will go back for the original penalty in their favour. Such a fine day for ruggers. In certain places it is, yes. Great Britain at the moment leading over Fiji in the sevens, ladies and gentlemen. That is a big upset if they are able to get themselves the win there. And I think that would make Great Britain go through. Yes, it would. That would be a massive upset if that is the case. Dan Bigger now. Getting this one downfield. Gets it into touch. How doesn't he get a yellow for swinging arm to the head, says I am nutty. I think they're saying it was live action, so because it all happened so fast and because he was so low down is what makes it all right. That's a big yawn again. It's been quite the long day. I wouldn't listen to Hansen. He's truly passed it. He let the Rots in after 2015, overthrown there, knocked on by Toulon, but they'll get the penalty beforehand anyway. Oh dear, says Blues Nate. I wonder how much time is remaining in that Fiji-Great Britain game, but I wouldn't think it's much, seeing as the next game's supposed to start in only 6 minutes. Halftime was 10-0 to the Fijians. Currently 12 minutes in. And they've just said Vuiviwan Nadawalo made a tackle. So we'll keep an eye on that one too. Going to be kicked into touch by Toulon as they slowly make their way up the field. Now, it would have been an option to go for 3. But at the same time, I think they're far enough behind that they have to go for it. So tell me, Hamish, why only 2 pool games? Whose bright idea was that? No idea, but yeah, it certainly isn't a good one. Like, it will be good for the sides that have made it through to the semi-final, but, like, if you're going to go that short, it just feels like they've chucked Cape Town in as a bit of a, like, they don't really care about this leg, and it's more so just chuck it out there, see what happens. 2-8 with that big yawn. Yeah, I felt it a little bit in that wisdom tooth. Now it's going to be slapped back to Toulon once again. That's another penalty. Oh, Fiji just scored. In the 13th minute. So maybe it will be enough. Hamish has a 1930s haircut. Probably a little bit. Ethan Ruiz can truly be a star, but he is too dirty. Is this unexpected? The Stormers are winning so far. They were favourites going into this game, so they're sitting about as they were expected to be. Yeah, so many penalties going against the Stormers in the second half so far, really allowing Toulon to just make those meters up the field. Money grab, Cape Town Sevens. I think so. Like, I feel like they could have easily just gone with the same groups in terms of the size and everything, and it would have been fine. No one would have minded. Like, yes, it's 2 more games for the players, and I understand that maybe it's the player safety side of things, but at the same time, like, it's not that much more for them. Nicely claimed. Now another advantage against the Stormers. Toulon have this ball at the back with Balbigny, and this is getting very close here. Dragged down, I think. Yes, it is another advantage going the way of Toulon. Now short ball. Oh, it's gone through the fingertips. Double blow of the whistle. And the Stormers will go to the bin. Spain Sevens won 14 or 19-14. Yes, so they are through to the playoff games. Thank you for keeping this commentary going. Get your pain. Still having a beer whenever you drink water. Beard soon, says Robert. And France won 47 points to 15. Oh, damn Bigger just kicked it into touch. Time is off now. And Heineken 10 times better than Rus, says Rob. Yeah, it's going to be hard work to try and keep that one up without it collapsing. The Storm is just ending up with that yellow. At what time South Africa playing Argentina? They are playing in 3 minutes. And we have actually got the commentary that will be going on the channel. It is going to be Rugby Itch. He is covering for us in that game. In fact, he might even be live at the moment, if I am correct. I think he was starting 6 minutes prior to the start of that match. So if I quickly type in the Kiwi... Oops, spelled it wrong. That's not good, is it? Kiwi Lads. I think he will be live at the moment. No, not quite. He's live in a minute. I do see. And the administrators want to go partying in Cape Town, says Samilla. And Honeycomb has it all. Springboks don't really have a feature. In that back row, he will be awesome for that. Now 10 metres out from the line, Toulon once again still on attack. Fiji 17, Great Britain 12 final score. So the Fijians making their way through to the next stage of the comp. And we will soon know who they will be playing. I think they'll be taking on, one moment, where are we? So Spain have confirmed their spot. Fiji will either be playing Spain or France. I'm not too sure as of yet, though. Now, on the short side here, Smaley. Tackle well. The Stormers' defence overall just haven't really been missing too many tackles whatsoever. Now, going back across, wide cutout pass. Oh, it's going to be knocked on, was it? By Heineken. Yes, it was. Northampton killing Castres. They are top 14 focus for sure. Come on, the Stormers, make it forever blue, forever white. Pull the win for Mama Stormers. Says a lean there. Looks like there is a bit of an injury here for one of the players. I think that is Jean-Luc Duplessis. It stayed down again. Just got an update for power to restore by 7 a.m. on December 9th. Painted my face on my TV remote. I'm calling him Wilson. Says Hansi. And brilliant defense, boys, says Grant. Yeah, they've just been really strong just out from their goal line, not willing to allow this side through, which is exactly what they needed. At the end of the day, the Stormers, they've conceded some pretty soft tries in the URC at times, but this just hasn't been one of those times. And I feel like that's just knowing the importance of this Champions Cup. Now, it's going to be another scrum. This time the Stormers will have themselves the feed. Blitzbox playing now. Can we switch to sevens? Says Buckman. We've actually got another live stream that's taking place on the channel at the moment, and that is the Blitzbox game, South Africa versus Argentina. It is scheduled to start soon, so hopefully the fella that we got to do the stream, or at least to help us with the stream, is going to be live. Yes, he is. He's live at the moment, ladies and gents. So anyone who wants to watch the sevens, be sure to check that out. As Marnie kicking, he is indeed. He's 2 from 2 today off the kicking tee, including a really tough one near the sideline. Thank you so much for bringing us the game through this channel, says Aline. No worries at all. We are going to be here for the next game as well between the Bulls and Saracens. Put back into the pocket now, Mani Lerbok with the clearing kick, and that is a very strong one. Gita Wainanyolo takes it quickly. Marius Dumont now runs it forward. Mani is kicking, says Stefan. Now, Toulon just want to get that momentum back a little bit. What channel, says Daniel? If you're talking about the sevens, it is on this channel as well, just a separate live stream. If you're talking about on the coverage for the sevens in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport 1. Now that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Stormers, locking over the ball. Is this where they start to consider taking a 3? Or do you just continue to go? I mean, at the end of the day, 2 more tries and they get themselves the bonus point. It looks like they are going to take on the 3. Only 3 likes. That's less than Mr. Marmite's mum got. Says, I am nutty. And we have got the Money Libok needs to go play for Pull Boys. Says Rob, I mean, so far he's 2 from 2 today, though. So he's been going all right off the kicking tee. I do see that France will be playing Fiji in the sevens, ladies and gents. So that's a bit of excitement. New Zealand will be playing Great Britain. And Kenya will be facing the loser of this next match that has taken place. So a few more matches taking place throughout the evening of the sevens. We will be covering them on the channel as well. Now, Mani Libok, this one's on the edge of his range, but he's been kicking well today. Can he back it up? He's got 10 seconds to take the kick. I always thought Intermac would be the next DC until Sasha came along. Good strike from Mani Libok. And it just hasn't quite got the distance. It was accurate straight down the middle, but just ended up falling short. And now another attacking chance here for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees goes across to Ruben van Heeren. Now again to the right. Mani Lebok with the flat ball. 40 metres out from the line. Quick hands from Dweba. Gets it off to Ruben van Heeren. Again running straight to Serran. Blitzbox 5-0 up against Argentina already, says Neville. So getting off to a dream start. In that regard, little grubber attempted in behind Money Libok, trying to kick it forward. He's been pushed over by Jeta Wainignolo. Somehow the ball is still alive though, and this time now the Stormers big shot on Herschel Yankees by Jeta Wainignolo. The big Fijian lining up the shot and taking his chance. Now back, Money Libok is back there under pressure. Slammed down. Jeta Wainignolo forces another error. That man's just tackling brilliantly at the moment. Money Libok just out from his in-goal area, looking for the offload. It's going to be a loose ball. It's risky. That was almost a high tackle though from David Ribbons, but it's going to be a 5-metre scrum now for Toulon. They've done brilliantly to get to that position on the field. Couple more changes. Andre Hugo Fento to make his way onto the park. And then also the other change is Andre Smith. Looks like Toulon are doing the same, making a couple switches for themselves. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it goes. One moment, we'll go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. And we will also go like that as well. I have no pity for the week. There's not rugby lol. It's been stop-start, hasn't it? This game overall. Definitely the second half. We haven't really seen a huge amount of impact being possessed by either of these teams. But that does not mean that it can't happen for the last 20, which we are already at. Come on the Stormers, come on boys, says Colin Brown. Currently only 4 points difference between these two sides still at this point in time. We have seen no tries and no points throughout the second half. Now, Fukando Isa is over. That is a big run there from the Pumas number 8. And he has just crashed over to give them the lead. Stop drinking water. I gave a beer each time. Nearly time for beer very soon, says Robert. I wonder why Whananuku isn't playing. Yeah, I think they've just opted for these two, Drayen and Villiers, out on the wings. And yeah, very close, says Ator, but that is great work for Kanduiza. Just takes the quick tap, throws himself at the line and breaks through about 3 Stormers defenders to get that important try. But the kick is just as important to give them a lead of more than 3. Well, to give them the lead of 3, I should say. Now Serran, line up this one. So we have no scoreboard on the screen at the moment. I don't know whether or not that's just for our coverage here on Sky Sport or whether that's for everyone around the world. And makes up for the try he fluffed in the first half, says I am nutty. Some good passes there by Money for the Toulon bat line, says Buckman. Serran, he has got it over. So the 3-point lead now for Toulon, 17 points to 14. They have the entire Irish team with an All Black and Springbok, including the former Springboks head coach, says Toilet Smithy. And like they've just said, too many missed tackles in a row coming there for this side. Type of mistakes that you just can't afford to make. Scoreboard is fine, says Stefan. Or is in like the scoreboard on the actual coverage, not this one. So I wonder if it is just our side of things for here on Sky, or whether it's everyone can't see it for the actual game. I see taken at the back there by the big man, Lewis Ludlam. And everybody will be weak at some points. There's always weak in the end. So yeah, it's called story, bro. Now kick downfield. And nicely taken again. Money Libok on the halfway line. Looks to boot this one high. What a Calant will be chasing after it. Oh, that hurts for Dan Bigger. He was taken out in the air. And he is not happy about it. Carl Dixon, he's still looking to the referee. He's still asking the question. And he's probably got a decent argument. What a Calant not getting to the ball, but instead pulling him down And they'll go back for the original knock-on against Dan Biggar, just to add a little bit more insult to injury. Right, we'll have to see a replay of this one. Lost forward by Dan Biggar. But was he dragged down by Watakallant? He is just not happy about it. Dan Biggar going over to Carl Dixon here, asking the question. And Biggar likes a good tantrum, and that's a terrible call, says Bill. And the Blitzbox 10-0 at the moment, so a great start to the match for them up against the Argentines, but they have to keep that momentum going as well. Currently 61 and a half minutes through this game. We didn't see a replay of that up and under, unfortunately. Now, scrum feed. I've just said there the Stormers are still down a player as well. Biggar is a phony, says Sim Miller. Now, scrum reset. Certainly hasn't been smooth for either of these teams throughout. Nettling for Shea looks like he's been in a horror film. He's got the little bit of a black eye for me. He's got the blood on the chin. Blitzbox 15-0. Who's doing the kicking for them, Neville? Because whoever it is seems like he's missing quite a bit. Oh, there we go. We got the scoreboard now. It's popped back up. 2 tries apiece for these two sides. So the chance of getting a bonus point's probably a little bit slim here, but just getting a win, I think, would be more than enough for both of these sides. I'd be happy with it anyway. Now, big push coming from the Stormers. That is a big shove. Oh, he's played the 9 there. Old Baptiste Serin. Marcel Tennyson manages to pick it up. Blitzbox 17-0 up against the Argentines at halftime. Back across, gone through the hands of Ben Jason Dixon. Samani Libok has to retreat. Thought about offloading to Watakallant straight up the middle. Does eventually get dragged down by Ribbons and Ludlam. Now Jan, in fact, no, sorry, it was Watakallant. Gets it away to JD Schickerling. On the side again, Hartzenberg. Wrestled down, another loose ball. And knock-on advantage to Toulon, who will look for the kick in behind. Taken by Herschel Yankees. Kick from Fresh, maybe not quite where he needed it. Now past that wide, that was close to forward from Lilian Zas. And again, another useless kick from the Stormers. It just seems to be that neither of these sides really want possession at the moment. As for commentary, and you need to clone yourself, Amish, says Neville. Yeah, it would be nice if we could do multiple streams at the same time. Now, Seron. I should mention we have actually got one for the sevens going at the moment. South Africa versus Argentina. It is Rapey Hitch who is covering for us. Now, Mani Libok going off to the right-hand side. Watakallant working hard to keep on his feet. Now, offloading back to Herschel Yankees. That's a huge hit from Gavin Villiers on Mani Libok, who has dropped the ball. Seron waits for the bounce and he scores the try. And that is the momentum shifter now, ladies and gentlemen. Great work from Toulon to get themselves another. That is now their third. The Stormers dropping the ball all over the place, kicking it away aimlessly. And that is a hit and a half on Mani Libok by Gavin Villiers. Drives through him and makes him drop the ball. Good night, sweetheart, says Bill there. Crowd size, please. I haven't actually seen the near side of the field, so I'm not sure of the exact number, but I think it's probably, like, at a guess, maybe 50. Oh, no, it's probably a little bit more than that, actually. Looking at it now, about 80%, if not higher, full. So a really good turnout for this match. Well, that was less than ideal. Says Grant there. Hutzenberg too slow for a winger. And momentum shifts. Good call, Hamish. And finally, you're without your tie, says Joe. Yeah, we haven't got the tie on today, but we could do. We could go get it. Now lining up this kick here, Baptiste Serin. The voice is starting to give way, but we've still got the next game taking place between the Bulls and the Saracens. How badly are the Stormers playing? Really poor. says Brian. And Dobson is a muppet. Get a real coach at the Stormers. And that one's gone over. 10 points difference now between these two teams. That is how quickly momentum can shift a game. And like they've said, though, they held the margin early on in the game. And there was a time where the Stormers were pretty close. In fact, they were able to take the lead back in those early stages. So, who knows? Now, it's going to be kicked downfield for the kickoff, well claimed by Toulon. Now, with only 14 minutes left, they can be pretty well controlled and just try not to do anything too stupid, I think is the best way of describing it. Come on, the Stormers. If you don't win here and in the URC, then go back where the Sharks was. Now, kicked him behind, 50-22 attempted here, but too much on it from Warrikalant, and does kick it dead. The last thing that they wanted there was to lose 50 metres. That's what's happened. These French teams are monsters, even their B team, says Buckman. So much hype for Lebock is a joke, says Barry. Now 13 minutes remaining. Toulon will have the scrum feed. Looks like there might be some sort of injury here for one of the forwards. Fiddlesticks, says Grant. Shut your stupid mouth. Who are you talking to, Doctor? Have you had an argument with someone in the chat? Or is that to me? Can you tackle from behind if you overrun the ball on the kickoff? Says I am nutty. Can you tackle from behind if you overrun the ball from kickoff? Yeah. Yeah, you're not offside because it's still an open play. It's like making a tackle from, making a tackle when someone's made a line break from behind. Serin getting a bit of medical attention. He's had a big game. How do you think the Nations Cup in a couple of years' time will impact World Cup? Says Neil. It'll be interesting to see how much hype is around that one compared to the Rugby World Cup. I'd still like to think that the World Cup would be the biggest occasion and that would be the big icing on the cake type thing, but it's just hard to tell. That's why it's 22-0, so yeah, brilliant start to the match for South Africa, and they should be booking themselves a spot up against the Spanish in the semi-final. Now Baptiste Serin waving to someone in the crowd by the looks of it. He's about to feed this ball in. I finished it, says Ator. And the Blitzbox 17-0 says Buckman there. Now Serin trying the cross kick. That is just a territory one by the looks of it, but it won't be terrible. And when you're 10-0 up, or 10 points up, you can afford to do that. You don't have to go too risky. Just take your chances. And risk management, I think, is a good way of looking at it. Toulon are in the box seat. Unless something drastic changes, they will not lose this game. The Stormers have to find their rhythm, but I'm not sure what they can do differently, because every time they try to do something slightly different, that's when their handling errors have come in, or that's when they give away a penalty or drop the ball into just open space. The only good thing about this performance by the Stormers is that Dobson will get fired. Stormers about to try, says Damon. What's Ian Foster up to these days? Probably living luxury in his mansion. Or at least his probably very good-sized house. Stormers are bad, says Ruben. Don't let these French beat us, says Johan. Now overthrown, Toulon grabs it well. And now they're just in the position where they can look for the bonus point. One more try would get them there, and that would add 5 points to their tally. 22 metres out. Pick and go again from the replacement hooker. Offloading game. Looking strong, fresh in there, but stolen in the breakdown by the Stormers. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for Ruan now as well. And it's going to be March 4-10 from Toulon disagreeing. Probably Dan Bigger, I would think, would have been the one talking there. Coaching both Peter Steftoy and Aaron Smith. And what is the Nations Cup? So it's pretty much the top 10 sides. The Six Nations teams, the Rugby Championship, the top 12 sides. 4 from the Rugby Championship. That is a great kick from the Stormers. Almost cost them because that one was almost controlled by Gavin Villiers, but still rolls out. But yeah, it's 6 sides from the Six Nations, 4 from the Rugby Championship, and 2 other sides. And then they'll all be playing off in a competition type format. Is Marnie the same like last time, cost the Stormers the game? Or is he playing good today? He's had a few mistakes overall, Marnie Libbok. Been a lot better off the kicking tee though, sitting 2 from 3. The only one that he missed, he just didn't physically have the distance for, which made it an interesting choice that they went for it. Blitzbox 17, Argentina 5. So here's Neville at the moment. They must be close to the end of that game, are they? Only a few minutes remaining, I would think. And Abies will win the Nations Cup, says Manny M. Nicely taken now. Add line out time for the Stormers. They've got 10 minutes to try and find a way back into this game. Handling is the word of the day, and they have to make sure that it's perfect. They've just knocked the ball on, I believe, or at least they got very close to knocking it on. Turnover in the breakdown from Toulon, and now kicked him behind. Sitting up now for Sanatla. He tried to show off the pace, but Gavin Villiers steals it, gets the grubber, and now tries to offload it up. It's going to be taken back by Hudson-Berg. Back and forth between these two teams. Back across, Marty Libbok goes to Watercalant. Hasn't had any huge match-changing moments as of yet. This game is lasting forever, says Mr. Marmite. It's been going a little while. Still 10 minutes to go as well. A quick hands, big shot on Andre Hugo Fenta. What year is the Nations Cup? I believe it's 2026 that we're going to get to see it. The Stormers miss a solid captain and coach, says Stefan, possibly. Yeah, a lot of handling errors as well throughout this game, so I don't think they can all be blamed on the coach in that regard. Trying to slap it back was Sanutla, doesn't get a clean hand on it, but Toulon now back with it again. Now back across to the right. My bad, says Blues Nate. And Nations Cup sounds awful. Says Cool Story Bro, Serum will kick it downfield again. Playing territory still. Waiting for that. Oh, Marnie Libbok is knocked out, I think. That does not look good. That was a little bit too high from the French. Oh, he's bleeding out his... It's either his nose or his mouth here. Yeah, it's out his nose for Marnie Libbok. That is not good. Just ends up getting cleaned up. Oh, it's just broken his nose, I think. He got knocked out, Marnie Libbok. That is not the way that he wanted his match to end. Now, unfortunately, the worst thing about it is his teammate was the reason that that man came through. Yes, he still connected high, but like it could be a red card, but it could also be downgraded because of Hudson-Berg being in the way. I think this is a red, though. It has to be. But way too high. A big man ducking like that, he has to get lower than he did get. I would say that this is going to be a yellow card for Yannick Uviet. Who says, Harry? As in who got hit or who is the one who's getting penalised? From the Stormers, Dobson too much by Northern Hemisphere media. Hope the ABs get rid of the white collar in 2025, but it sounds like Marnie Libbok will be stretched off the field now. That hit looks sickening. Yeah, the fact that there was no streaming down his face, though, while he was still unconscious is not a good look. Okay, they're saying, can you play it from the kick? I think they want to see how much impact Hudson-Berg has had on this play. It's a French guy, so just a penalty. Imani having a terrible day, says Jimbo. Yeah, it looked like a broken nose straight off the get-go. Looked like his nose got crunched to the side. We're going to see it here. So, unfortunately, before that hit, it's actually going... It's probably a penalty against Hudson-Berg. Okay, so they have said there's obstruction, so it would normally be a penalty, but then there is head-on-head. So, okay, so this is going to be at least a yellow card. Okay, there's no height difference. I think this is going to be a red. Yep, they're at red card for this one. And Warwick is many ex-Bulls players are not that good for the problems. Stormers. Is Marnie off? Stormers have a chance now, says Nico B. Yeah, he's being stretched off the field with probably a broken nose and a concussion at the moment. So they're trying to work out whether or not Uyut. So he pushes Hudsonberg, so he is at fault a little bit. Head on head, high degree of danger, and it's going to be a red card. Card colour doesn't matter. Yeah, although I think this is going to be a suspension for him as well, not just the 10 minutes. Uyut is going to be shown the red card. And he will now be off the field for the rest of the game. He'll be disappointed. A big man, the number 20, with Sasha insisting. Wants to play 10. Has broken the squad. Says Samila. Singing that will be a red card. Stormers obstruction by 14 first. Then head contact equals yellow card. Says Buckman. So yeah, Marnie Libok, they've got the oxygen on him as well at the moment, but he was receptive to one of the medics by the looks of it. So they are just making sure that he is going to be all right, but they have put that oxygen mask on him to keep him getting some air. And who else? There's a Robert. What a sevens game. Blitzbox 29, Argentina 5 final score. So 2 great games for the Blitzbox overall here. But yeah, Marnie Libok going to be taken off the field. Hopefully, I mean, at best, he's got a concussion and he's got a broken nose. That is literally best case scenario at the moment for Marnie Libok. Anything less, he's given the thumbs up. Like, if he hasn't broken his nose, he's got some real dexterity in that thing. That is for sure. And come on, the Blitzbox, there's a rugby itch there. What's happening? I just heard oxygen mask. Yeah, so they've got it on as a precaution, but he does look receptive, which is great news for Marnie Libok and the Stormers. And at least the Blitzbox are through to the semis, and they will be going on to face off against Spain, I believe. And then France versus Fiji is the other side of the draw. So a couple big games that are taking place for the Sevens. Trying to get this rolling ball going here. The Stormers, they've got a man advantage for the rest of the game, so perhaps they can make the most of it. Stormers getting stormed over, says Contrarian. Oh, ball still there for the Stormers. I think I actually saw Sanetla as one of the men, or the men in the breakdown. Yep, 25 metres out from the line. I need the special wide mask to fit his new nose. So here's a Jimbo. Now that is going to be a knock-on advantage against Toulon again. The ball is loose, and they'll go back for the scrum. And that's going to be another card. That's the number 15 gone now. Marius Damon. Toulon are starting to lose their composure here. Nose isn't bone, it's cartilage, so flexible. Says I am nutty, yeah, although it can only be so flexible when you get hit in the head by a man who's about 120 kgs. Thank you, Rugby Itch, for the Sevens commentary. Says Lilia B. Yeah, hopefully it all went smoothly, Tim, and you didn't have any issues with anybody. I fell for Labok, everyone against him. He helped the Box win the World Cup, and this could be the end of his Bok career, says Stefan. But now, going to be a chance for the Stormers. They've got themselves... Oh, there's a cheeky tactics there. Oh, here we go. It's going to be a bit of push and shove by the looks of it. Willie Engelbrecht getting fired up there. And David Ribbons just pulling his men back, who were both trying to get in a little bit of a tussle. And that was a stern warning from David Ribbons. Look straight at Gigashvili and said, pull your head in, pretty much, is the gist of it. He said the last thing we need is any more penalties against us. If you break a bone in the nose, it's a skull fracture. And we behaved. How do you know us, Hamish? Said Lilia B. There's a red card and a 9-month ban. Labok is a great player. People can say what they want. I think he needs to make a move overseas, says Wilfred. Now Andre Hugo Fenta to throw this ball in, well claimed by JD Schickerling. I've been told to use it once. So another 7 minutes remaining here. Andre Hugo Fenta does break off the back, and there's the penalty to Toulon. Hang on, they're going upstairs. This was a dirty shot. coming in from the Stormers. Tim did well, except calling the Blitzbox a Springboks, but he fixed that. See, Sean, although to be fair, like they're referenced at times as the Springboks Sevens, like the official Springboks website calls them the Springboks Sevens. So, like, he can be led away with that. Some people do still call them the Springbok 7 side. All right, we're going to see the replay here. Oh, yeah, no, that's not good. From Lelian Zas, hits Seren right on the chin. Oh, okay, no, he got him a little bit high. He got him just there. Could be a red for Zas. He's coming from a long distance. I think this is probably a yellow. He made the Sevens knockout games, so it is going to be in the first match. It is Spain versus South Africa. That is happening at 12:56 a.m. New Zealand time. Another red card. I don't see this as a red. For me, this is only a yellow, I would say. Like, there is an arm wrap. Although he doesn't get him high enough, I don't think, for it to be a red. But it could still easily be a yellow. And then the other semi-final is Fiji versus France as well. So, a couple good matches coming up. Chris Smith is better kicker than Lebok. And he never makes mistakes, says Outlaw. Pure Malice hit red, says Bill. I don't agree, Lebok is a great player. I bind all. Other curses against Marnie, says Vincent. It's raining yellows in the Champions Cup today. Yeah, a lot of ill discipline from the sides in this competition. Okay, Carl Dixon's at a yellow card. So Lilian Zas just makes it back to 14 on 14 for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And this is the type of thing that is why Stormers are losing games. Because they get an advantage. You've got a rolling maul 5 meters out from your opposition line, and you put in a brain-dead hit that then not only gets you a yellow card, but also gives Toulon the possession now. Fiji are just too good in sevens. They're competing for cards now, says Ruben. I think that's harsh that Marnie Lebok's career is over, says Monet Lagrange, and Chris Smith is a robot, one-dimensional and is slow and poor, says Samilla. Oh, sorry, a one-man advantage, I should say. At the moment, it's 14 on 13. Stormers don't like winning, says Neville. Nicely claimed by David Ribbons. 40 metres out from the line at the moment. Has been sacked. Now going high. And it's going to be slapped back for the Stormers. Loose ball, though, almost cleaned up by Gita Wanyanyolo. Might have had a partial knock on there. Who's that number 5 lock for Toulon? That is David Ribbons. So he is also the captain for them in this match. Oh, they've gone for the counter ruck there, and that is a penalty. Ooh, do they take the 3 here, or do they go for the corner? I think they might go for the corner. At the end of the day, the Champions Cup, you've got 6 teams in your group, and this is the opportunity to add a bonus point. Can they get it done? They've tried multiple times in this game, and multiple times haven't quite been successful. Like they've said, just using up time as well by kicking it into the corner. Chris Smith rocked, says Outlaw. How many times have they heard this done statement? Apparently this is the last game for the Box, says Miller. Right. 4 minutes and a half left. Number 21 making his way onto the field. That is Hervé. We've already seen him briefly out there on the park. Here comes the rolling maul again. Toulon looking to really creep this one forward. And if they score here, not only would they win this game, but they would get their bonus point for 4 or more tries. But the turnover is good for the Stormers. Oh, Willie Engelbrecht has to be very careful not to let his temper get the better of him here. 2 brain dead penalties, and we are back on our try line. Armani is still going to play awesome rugby, says Johan. Armani will play for the Box at the World Cup 2027. They'll get him there. But now Another chance here. Baptiste Serron. He's had a standout game, and I think they're just about to give him man of the match, which would be completely understandable from what he's done so far. Come on, we will go like that. We will go like that and that. There we go. And thanks, Mods and Hamish. See you enough. We'll see you soon enough. So, yeah, the next live stream that we've got is actually Saracens versus the Bulls. That has taken place very soon. Only happening just around the corner. In fact, what we might do is go a little bit later with that one. We're currently 6:20. We'll schedule it for 5 minutes later, just because this game might run a little bit later as well. But now, scrum feed. Thought about putting this ball in. Already knew he was getting the penalty there. Herschel Yankees. They've got 3 minutes left. So they have to make a lot of meters. And at best here for the Stormers, I would say a losing bonus point could be on the cards. So that is when you are within 7 as well. So they've got a bit of work to do. Still a bit more time remaining though. 2.5 minutes remaining. Now Andre Hugo Fenta. To throw this one in. Both sides will be down men by the end of the match. 14-13 at the moment. The prayer kicking game, Smith passing game, and Hughes sniping. The halfback would be insane. Says Toilet Smithy. And hello, says Mr. Marmite. That is a forward pass, is it? No, a penalty there. This time against Toulon for taking Jean-Luc Dupré. Oh, sorry, Jean-Luc Duplessis, I should say. Carl loves a whistle. He certainly does. I've heard it a lot in the last 10 minutes of this game or so. Now, what a calamity. That's gone straight up in the air. Is that one even going to find touch? Just. Going to see it here. Jean-Luc Duplessis. Would have been a forward pass, but the late shot coming in from Here. And Ed Willems are back and Sasha. Ser Liliofano. Nicely taken. And Willems are too busy grinding on guys on a boat. And now, another knock on. Now, Toulon. Oh no. One of the Toulon players celebrated, turned around and kind of slapped his arms down. Little did he know that there was actually a Stormers player behind him, and he's ended up slapping him, and he's got some bad cramp at the moment for Hudson Berg. And Samila said, what do they give the English refs? Get all the big test games? What makes them so great? Says Samila. I think in this case, it's more so just the fact that he is a neutral ground, I guess you could say. Or neutral country in this case. Looks like they were about to go for the scrum, but Hartzenberg is still down with a bit of a leg injury. Carl Dixon's just said, sorry, I thought he was about to get up. But no, he is still down, and he's getting some of that special spray to try and get him up off his butt. At the moment, well, we will go like this and like that as well. Just having a look at all of the sevens games that are going to be taking place. They will be all throughout the night tomorrow as well, ladies and gents, and we will be covering as many of them on the channel as we can. What went wrong for the Stormers, says Lilia B. Unfortunately, just handling was poor. Decision-making was off. Penalties. Discipline has been pretty poor as well. Dan Bigger and Facundo is having a chat on the sideline. They are pretty happy with the way that this has gone for Toulon, who haven't been perfect throughout their game either, but they've been the better side. And the last 5 minutes feels like 30 minutes. Yeah, it's been a long time to finish this game. And this game so far has been a 2 hour and 3 minute game. So one of the longest games that we've had in a little while. I think our previous record for a long game was about 2 hours, 2 minutes. And that wasn't that long ago either. But this one's still got 30 more seconds that we have to get through first. And Toulon will still be looking for one last try. So it could be 2 hours 5 by the time this one is over. In fact, maybe even later. This is a disastrous result for the Stormers, says Jimbo. And South African and French refs have always been the best. Not an amateur era South African refs, though. Now, Baptiste Serron about to put the ball in again. Cameron has said Toulon in the chat. Oh, diving through. That's going to be the advantage. No, it's the knock on, so we've still got time for one more scrum, ladies and gents. This game is not over yet. Toulouse is a very strong side, make no mistake. Yeah, although Toulon is playing at the moment. Unless you're just referring to Toulouse, who are playing up against Ulster very soon. As URC season still 2 years. Well, it starts in 2024, ends in 2025, but then the next one starts in 2025, ends in 2026. So it's one season worth, but it just takes 2 years in terms of the year start and the year end. But it's a 12-month competition, or like a 9-month, whatever it ends up being there. Another penalty goes the way of the Stormers. Herschel Yankees takes it quickly now, trying to fire it across. It's going to be knocked on by the Stormers, and that is the end of this game. 24 points to 14. A big win for Toulon. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got about 5 minutes till we start up that next one, which will be the Bulls taking on Saracens. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.